Hi and welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we talked about how to load up data with cuDF. And specifically, we looked at how we can use very similar syntax, or actually identical syntax to pandas, to working with big data that's all loaded onto our GPU. And we also saw some of the advantages and some of the speed boosts of downloading our data locally and using it from a local Parquet file. In this video, we're going to start picking up where we left off, and we're going to start actually interrogating our data by doing things like data manipulation. We're going to learn how to select columns. We're going to learn how to select specific rows by their label or column name. We're also going to learn how to index our rows, so grab a specific chunk at an individual row level. So rows say 20 to 40. And we're also going to learn how to do Boolean indexing. If you don't know what this means, then stick around for this video because you'll find out. And finally, we're also going to tackle multi-indexing. So we're going to cover all this basic functionality with cuDF and pandas all in this video. I am very excited because this entire series is being done on this machine behind me. This is the Dell Workstation Precision 3680, and inside of it is a beast of a setup. It's got an RTX 5000 ADA from NVIDIA. This is a GPU with 32 gigabytes of VRAM, which is more than enough to not only run inference with most of the models that I need, but also even fine-tune them, models like Qwen 2VL. This is a massive GPU that not only allows me to leverage machine learning more easily, it also allows me to do things like what we're seeing in this series, load up large datasets, thanks to NVIDIA's GPU Accelerated Python packages like cuDF, cuGraph, and cuML. So thank you so much to Dell and NVIDIA for really sponsoring this series and giving me this workstation. This workstation came installed with Ubuntu 24.04 and was very easy to set up. And I'm really excited about this because, as you all probably know, I'm a digital nomad. I travel full time. I can't bring a workstation like this with me everywhere I go, despite the fact that it has a very small footprint. That said, I'm going to be spinning this up as a workstation server that I can call from anywhere I'm at in the world. So for the next few months, while I'm in Argentina, I'll be able to access this GPU and keep on bringing you content from it for the next few months. So thanks again, NVIDIA and Dell. Okay, now that we're in our notebook, let's go ahead and start doing some tests. I'm going to show you a couple fun tricks in this video. One to measure really the speed benefits of using cuDF, and I'm also going to show you a better way to import cuDF where you don't have to use import cuDF. Instead, I'm going to show you how to use the load extension magic command where you can take any Python script or notebook that's already got pandas in it and simply do zero coding changes. So let's go ahead and dive in. Because we're going to be doing zero coding changes, we're going to go ahead and import pandas as PD at the top of this notebook. Now we're going to be overriding this in just a second. And the reason for that is because I want to show you really the speed benefit that we get from just loading up a data frame. Remember, this data frame is going to be about 2 gigabytes in size, and it's a Parquet file from American Stories from the years 1938 to 1945. And it takes roughly 7.5 seconds to load up. Now, what we can do to measure the speed boost of pandas cuDF is we can load extension. Now this is a special magic command that we can pass in our notebook. And as we're going to see in the next notebooks coming forward, we're going to be passing this at the top of our notebooks. This is just for demonstration purposes. And the reason for this is because we can just put this at the top of any of our existing notebooks that have pandas, and we will instantly be able to leverage our GPUs through cuDF. So let's go ahead and execute this command right here. And nothing's really changed. Except it has. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's go ahead and import pandas once again as PD. So again, sticking with that pandas syntax. And let's use this magic time command again. And you're not seeing this sped up at all. This is real time. In less than a second, roughly 800 milliseconds, we were able to load up that entire data frame, those 2 or 3 gigabytes, into memory. Now, what I want to do is to show you really what's going on behind the scenes. So we're going to go ahead and remove that data frame from memory, and we're going to leverage another feature of cuDF. And this is the one that I think is really cool and really useful when you start wanting to analyze what's going on behind the scenes with cuDF and why you want to use it. It's the magic command cudf.pandas.profile. This is the profiler that comes built in with cuDF. And so we're going to go ahead and execute this cell. And we're going to notice that we have no output because we're just essentially creating the data frame object, but what we do have is an output from the profiler. So what's going on here? Well, this is the profiler from cuDF that tells us exactly what is happening with our hardware. It tells us the amount of data that's being sent off and functionality that's being passed off to our GPU and what's happening on the CPU. So as we can see, loading up data frame was so quickly Because read parquet, this function here, was being passed off explicitly to the GPU. It's been called one time and it took a half a second to run. This is a substantial increase because it's being passed off to our GPU, and the profiler lets us see that going on. And once again, we can use NVIDIA-SMI, and we can see exactly what GPU. We're using the RTX 5000. And so what can we do? Well, let's go ahead and start learning about some basic Pandas syntax for doing things like indexing. This is a common feature that you'll always have to do when you're working with data, especially data in Pandas, is grab data based on certain queries or certain filters. Now we have a lot of different ways to filter data in Pandas, and we're going to be covering some of them in this series. But what I really want to emphasize is what's going on behind the scenes and how this functionality of Pandas syntax is all being passed off to our GPU. So we're going to use the magic command once again, cuDF.pandas.profile, to see what's going on right here. So let me explain this. Essentially what we're doing is we're grabbing our data frame, and we're telling Pandas that we want to index it at the data frame's row of newspaper underscore name, and we're specifying that we want to specifically grab all of the rows that equate to or have this string that matches evening star period. And when we do that, we are able to see two outputs now. The first is going to be our filtered data set. As you can tell, we're dealing with roughly 2 million rows, so a huge quantity in our data. And we're also going to see another output if we scroll down. What we're seeing here is once again the profiler output. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this again is because it's always important to see what's happening, what's going off to your GPU, what's going off to your CPU. And what we're also able to see is that our number here of the number of GPU functions doesn't align with the number of functions right here. There's a really good reason for this. We also have this other column called GPU in calls, or number of calls. So as we can tell, these 4 functions are actually distributed where we have 1 for each of the bottom ones and 2 for this get item. So get item is called twice here. And as we're able to see that each of these functions have a separate runtime. This allows for us to understand how long each one of these functions took. And this is really going to be useful when you start working with larger and larger data sets, so 2 to 4 gigabytes plus, where you really need to analyze your bottlenecks. What specific functions are causing the greatest time delay, and what's not being passed off to the GPU that maybe could be. And so we're going to see this be really useful in later videos, but you should be familiar with it right now. Now, another thing that you can do in Pandas, and therefore in cuDF, is you can index by location. So say you wanted to grab only data that falls within a specific range. You want to grab data between 2000 and 2004. You can do that by just using the .lock command, which is going to take that specific index range from start to end. Now, once again, we're using the profiler. So we're able to not only see the output from this, so rows 2000 to 2004, we're also able to see the specific functions that were called and how long each of one of them took. If we keep on scrolling down, we have another example here. This is what we call a multi-conditional example. Now, why do we call it multi-conditional? Well, it's because there are 2 conditions that need to be true in order for the data to pass this filter. So the first thing that needs to be true is that everything in the data frame that needs to be returned must have a date that corresponds to December 3rd, 1938. And we have our AND operator. So another condition must be true, and that is that the newspaper name must be the Waterbury Democrat. And so what we're going to do is we're going to execute this cell, and once again, we're going to look at in this case, just the top 5 rows, and we're going to see that we've grabbed all 5 of these top 5 rows very quickly, and we're also able to see a lot more of the complexity of that filtering. So we can see now 8 different GPU functions were called. This is, again, something that's really important to leverage when you're working with big data, so you can identify things that go quickly and things that go slowly, so you can improve your code. Because remember, in Pandas, especially as you do more and more complex things, there is never one way to solve a problem, or rarely is there a one way to solve a problem. Sometimes certain Pandas operations are better used to solve certain problems over other ones. And if you wanted to take a look at that entire filtered data frame, you can do so by printing off the filtered_df object, where you can see that we've got 329 rows. Now, I'm going to pause here in this video and let you spend some time getting familiar with some of these things, but remember, as we go forward, and if this is the only video you watch, the main thing that you need to remember is that in order to leverage cuDF, you don't have to import it explicitly. All you have to do is use simply load_ext space cuDF.pandas as a magic command, and you will be able to load up cuDF and keep all of your original Pandas syntax without any 0 with zero coding changes whatsoever. So thanks a lot and see you in the next video.